Hello and welcome to another boulder breakdown. So it's been a little while since we've done one of these. We've been really busy with events and loads of other stuff, and we're actually going to look at one of the boulders from a recent event we set at Flashpoint Swansea. So the comp was called the BOF, the Big Open Flashpoint Festival I think it is, and we're going to look at the last men's boulder from that. If you want to see some of the behind the scenes action from that, we did a 3-part vlog of setting for that event as well, so I'll put a link above in the little cards and in the description below. Anyway, let's get to it now and have a look at the boulder. Okay, so we'll have a look through the boulder in full to start with, and then we're going to go through, as always, section by section and kind of break it down. So this was men's 3 for this BOF comp. It was a 3-block final, so this was the last boulder of the final. This is Jamie Rankin. He was the last competitor out, and it hadn't had a top up to this point. No one had actually got to the zone. So we're going to have a look at a failed attempt as well, because Jamie makes the bottom section look quite easy. So it's hard to kind of see where the difficulties lay. So here's Jamie's top. We're going to do a bit of a deeper dive into that in a minute. We also have Raj here, who came second, I believe, on one of his attempts, one of his better attempts. You can see here, this is kind of where a lot of the difficulties lay through that section there. Okay, let's go back and kind of break this down one move at a time. So first of all, we've got this section here where the climber's really forced to use a lot of tension. So that is mainly due to hold choice. So this right hand here, he's actually matching it in this case, but this hand here and the hold that he's moving to, this other yellow hold here, are like really sloping edges. There's not much for the thumb, not much to pinch them with. And because of that, because they're not in cut, they're really flat, it means that you have to use this big macro down at the bottom here for your toe. If you just jumped out to that second one, it was really hard to control that swing. So again, hold choice here is really important to kind of force this sequence with the toe. Play it through a little bit more. You can see down here that Jamie's got that toe in that allows him to get really well settled on those holds. And then once you've got those holds, you can control the move a little bit more. So playing on a little bit more. Really hard foot swing here. This foot was awful. It was like a bad foot upside down on a volume. We tried it without the foot on the volume at all initially, but it was a bit too hard, so we've just basically found the worst foot that we could. And then here we've got this cool cross under move. Here it's really worth taking a look at, just like, this is a really good example of some of the things volumes allow you to create. So this volume, even though it's only small, the fact that it really changes the profile of the wall allows you to set this move where you're like crossing through to this like backhand undercut thing that you just can't really do without volumes. It brings the profile of the wall out, allows you to add a hold to that underside, and even though it's only a volume that's like 30 centimeters long, it really changes the profile of the wall and allows you to create this movement. So moving on a little bit, we've got another volume here that's just using an intermediate without any jib on it at all. And then this was the real section that we wanted to focus on as being like the showy section for the crowd. So interestingly, when you're setting competition routes, a big part of it is that you want to split up the competitors. You need to get results. So some people need to fall off, some people need to do them. That's like the number one priority. But another thing is that you really want to put on a show for the crowd. So in this case, we went through a few variations of this boulder, and initially the top half of it was a bit too secure. This left hand that Jamie's about to reach to here was initially a lot better, and you just did a big move up to this right hand side pull and you were super stable. What we've done here, or the changes that we made actually, were that this hold here, the zone hold, is again really sloping, totally flat basically with a sloping edge, and the angle of it is also really important. So the hold is basically totally flat. We tried it initially with the hold at more of an angle like this, but it meant between this hold here and between this hold here, you had a lot of compression, and it meant that you could really control the move. By turning this hold so that it's a completely flat angle, you'll see as Jamie moves past it to the right hand hold, because it's sloping and it's flat, you've got no compression between them at all. It's really hard to control, and what we were aiming for was ended up to be spot on. He loses control of that left hand, ends up just right hand on and right foot planting onto this big volume stack here. So we made this volume stack as big as we could so that there was a really easy foot plant target, and we were hoping that as you lose this left hand, you would catch the big right macro, stamp your foot, and that would be like the dramatic moment for the crowd. So luckily, a bit through educated guessing and a bit through luck, it worked out pretty perfectly. So this was Jamie on his flash go. So you can see he's really struggling with that hold, which is important. You needed to be able to get enough from it that you could do the move to here. So you can see here, he's still got control of the left hand. As he hits the right hand, can go a little bit further now through the move, and you can see here that just as he hits this big stack volume with his foot, you'll see that the left hand kind of starts to lose control. So here, there you go, you can see that left hand actually just blew then entirely off that hold. Let's look through that again in slow-mo. So you can see the left hand just blows at the perfect moment, and he manages to control it with one hand on that big volume and one foot planted. The end, we decided to keep it really easy. Basically, we didn't want anyone falling off after that point, because it was hard enough. They'd like earned the top at that point, so the top move was really quite straightforward. We'll have another look now at Raj on one of his better goes, and you can really see this bottom section. Jamie was the only person who made it through into the top section, but you can see in this bottom section that it's really not as easy as Jamie made it look. So the fact here that we've got a sloping hold, this one here, combined with a really bad foot, meant that controlling that movement was really difficult. Even though Jamie manages to do it static, it's actually quite like a high risk movement. So the hand is really bad, hard to control. The foot on the volume is really bad. Lots of people had that foot kind of skating off, and it's that high risk element of route setting that you really want to incorporate a lot of in competition route setting, because you're trying to make sure you get a result, and that means you want people to fall off. If this hold here, the left hand, had been like small and in cut, where people have a lot more control, and maybe the body position or the like flagging leg position was less important, then a lot of the climbers in this final would have just really pulled hard on that and managed to fight their way through. By using some sloping or flat holds, it meant that if you did the move wrong at all, or if you didn't really weight the foot like you needed to, you didn't have much chance of doing the move. So that worked out really well. You can see here that actually I think Raj's left hand blows, his foot is also struggling to stay on. So it's those risk elements which are really important in competition route setting. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe below and give us a little thumbs up if you want to follow along with more content that we'll be doing. We're hoping to do more and more content live kind of on the setting days as well, so any of you that really enjoyed that last vlog series from the BOF, make sure to keep checking in. We've also got an online course that we're filming at the moment that is going to be called The Fundamentals of Route Setting. So if you haven't had the chance to come to one of our courses in person, and you want to learn a bit more about route setting, then head to our website and make sure to subscribe to hear more about that. We're hoping that will be ready to go in the pretty near future. If you do want to support us in any other way, we've also had an awesome new t-shirt design just done. There's a link to it for the pre-order. They'll be with us in 10 to 15 days, and we'll be sending them out before Christmas. So if you do want to get yourself a t-shirt as well, follow the link in the description and you can get one of our Vols t-shirt designs that are available now. Alright, see you all soon.